Hello everyone, this is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60, and we are having tea time this week at 3 o'clock on my Facebook page at Catch Your Breath 60. So this is an open page, and it is for anybody that has chronic illness of any kind. It is for those people who are aging, because chronic illness is not the only reason why we suffer the way that we do with things like anxiety and, the aches and pains that we have and the inability to breathe. Hi, Beverly. Glad to have you this week. So this page is for anybody with chronic illness, of any kind of chronic illness. And we have people who have fibromyalgia, who have Crohn's disease, who have rheumatoid arthritis. Most of us, or I would say 90% of us on this page, are suffering from COPD. Hi, Carol. How are you today? It's a warm one, eh? So we're on the Eastern Seaboard, and I'm in Canada, and Carol is just below me in Massachusetts. And it is very, very hot. Out west, our provinces out west are under a dome right now, which is, if you could picture it like Stephen King's. Somebody said to me the other day, they thought of Stephen King's, I can't remember the name of it, but I think it was called The Dome. And they had it on TV where a city was under this dome, and that's what it's like out west right now and in the Yukon territories. They are having blistering heat out there, and they're going from 40 to 45 degrees, which is pretty damn hot. It's bad enough here on the Eastern Seaboard. In Southern Ontario, we're east, and so we're having some very, very hot weather right now. We're probably up over 100, and our humidity is sitting anywhere from 85 to 95%. So you can imagine, hi Rose, hi Kim, you can imagine what it's like to walk out the door. And so I think everybody's in today. Nobody can be out because it's just so horrible out. Yes, I think it was called Under the Dome, Carol. It was a Stephen King show. My husband had read the book. My husband has the entire library of Stephen King books, all in hardcover. He's read every one at least 2 or 3 times. My daughter has read all of the books, and they're huge Stephen King fans. So when they were talking about this the other night, that's what popped up. Yeah, where's your neck of the woods, Patty? I heard that Australia is going into winter right now. So their temperatures are getting a little bit cooler. So cooler for Australia would probably be like midsummer for us. New Zealand had some snow last night. So they're going into their winter as well. Yuck, don't want the snow. Hi, Anne. Glad you could make it today. Hi, Patty. MI is Michigan. Is it Michigan? I'm not American, so I'm not sure what MI stands for, but I think it might be Michigan. And you would be getting the same probably weather as us, right? Yeah, so weather's been crappy. We kind of went from way too cold a spring to way too hot a summer, right? And it's, it happens overnight. It drives me crazy. Because I just, you can't get out to enjoy it at all. So we have to do what we can to take care of ourselves, stay in the air conditioning if we can. That's my dog barking at the door. Somebody's knocking at the door and I don't answer the door. So George isn't here right now. So don't worry about her. She enjoys it. She enjoys barking at the door. You know what I'm talking about, right, Carol? She just enjoys barking. Like it's just like a pastime. Anyhow, dogs barking. So we have to stay if we can, in the air conditioning. If we don't have air conditioning, I don't even know what to tell you. I think sit in the bathtub with cool water. Keep your feet in cool water. Keep well hydrated. Lemon, slices of lemon are really good in your water. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I don't know how people survive without air conditioning. And I'm saying that from a place where it could just as well happen to any of us, right? But I can't breathe, so I don't know how you people are doing it without air conditioning. I'm hoping that things will open up for you, that cooling centers will open up, libraries, places like that, shopping malls, where if it's too hot to sit at home all day, you can go to a shopping mall or something. And I know it's pretty precarious right now with COVID going on, but what are you going to do, right? You have to do what you have to do to keep cool on these extremely hot days. And these hot days are almost worse than the really, really cold days. Like, I know it can get frigidly cold, right? And we're usually in under some kind of heat, but this oppressive heat that we're doing right now, if you don't have air conditioning, and not everybody does apparently, I don't know how you're managing. So you've got to find some way to keep yourself cool, right? The hose works. I know the hose works because we do it to the dog all the time, right? Just to cool her down. So last week, we have been talking for some time about anxiety, but it doesn't seem to be, we haven't resolved it yet. So, yeah, the heat is very dangerous, Carol. People die in this heat. So, best to be looking for some place to keep cool. I'm sure that they have cooling centers almost every major city anyways. In New Jersey, yeah, you went to water your plants. Well, I did that yesterday. I went out on my porch to have a look at my plants. I wasn't even going to water them. I was just going to have a look at them, and I took one deep breath, and I said, yeah, I'm not going out there today. So I just pointed, and George did it for me. That's a Zoom joke for anybody who doesn't understand it. So last week, we talked about anxiety, as we have been for the last couple of weeks. And we talked about manifesting our anxiety into something as large as a 6-foot butterfly. And we gave it a color. It was a pink 6-foot butterfly. And because we named our anxiety and because we manifested it, we had total control over it and what it was going to do for us. And when we opened our eyes, we didn't actually see the butterfly, but what we did see is an easing of our anxiety. So this week I'm going to ask you another question. I'm not going to ask you to manifest. I'm not going to ask you to manifest a 6-foot butterfly again. Actually, Derek got quite the kick out of that. So today I'm going to ask you, what if? So we can look at this, we can ask ourselves, what if, and look at this as a great thing. What if I could fly? What if I was a bird and I could fly? Could you imagine how wonderful it would be to be able to fly? Especially now, since I can't walk very well, right? I get out of breath and everything. It would be wonderful to fly. What if I had $1 million? A friend of ours won $100,000 on a lottery ticket, and I thought, oh my God, how lucky are those people? Like, $100,000 would absolutely change my life. And I've got 3 kids that I have to share with, right? So I guess everybody has to get their share. I don't know how it works. I don't know what you would do with it. I don't even know what I would do with it, because I was told a long, long time ago by somebody who reads your future, don't buy lottery tickets because you're never going to win. Oh, that wasn't nice. And besides, I was spending a fortune on lottery tickets. At the time, it was something that I was just kind of addicted to. They were dollar tickets. And she said, just stop that because you're never going to win. And guess what? I never won. What if you mustered up the courage to do something that caused you a lot of anxiety, and stopped you from enjoying life? What if you mustered the courage? When you suffer from anxiety, these questions can have disastrous results. On the scale of justice, we can go higher, we can go low. Or what was it? I'm not sure how that expression goes. I go high, you go low, or something like that. Anyways, when you suffer from anxiety, the question can have disastrous results. Why? Because we can manifest that anxiety and we can make it and turn it into something bad. Anxiety, if we allow it to have its way with us, is a dream killer. If we allow it, it can kill every dream that we have. We could attempt respiratory rehab, and we could fail, and nobody ever fails respiratory rehab. But if you got your anxiety up high enough, and if it was at a high enough level, you would be in a position where you would be unable to complete it. It is a dream killer. Every optimistic thing that you have, or everything that is going on that you could be optimistic about, it can go one or two ways. So you can either, if you will, take the high road or take the low road. I don't know if that's the right analogy for it, but you can make every situation good or bad. We take back our dreams by interrupting the anxiety with your own possibilities. We stop negative self-talk that allows anxiety to control our lives. Imagine that, like when you stop and think, I don't know everybody that's here. Hi, Brian. We do have a guy here. But 95% of my followers are women. And the other 5%, I guess, are guys, because it's harder, I think, to get guys interested in this kind of a thing than it is women. But anyways, when you think back of, and I'm doing a lot of this lately because, I just turned 65 this year. And so I'm doing a lot of reflection, I guess you will say, on past years. And you think back to all the possibilities and all of the opportunities that you had. And how many times did you allow anxiety to interrupt your plans? I know that I'm guilty of this, and it has happened a few times, but I suffered from anxiety and depression most of my life. And so for me, it was normal. The surprise was I didn't know until I became sick that everybody had a certain level of anxiety. And I didn't know that even if you have a low level of anxiety and, it's not really showing and stuff like that, you handle it well, it's still a high level for you. And I didn't know that. I thought that everybody who was living on this planet was just managing things much, much better than I was. So I let anxiety stop me a few times. And when I look back at the things that anxiety stopped me from doing, those are things that could have possibly changed my life. Yes, it is, Brian. It's so easy to allow anxiety to take over your mind. So I want to give everybody like a minute to get a pencil and a piece of paper. And if you have a journal and you're journaling, let's grab your journal, because this is a journal exercise. But if you don't have a journal and you're not writing in your journal, just get a pencil and a piece of paper. Or a pen and a piece of paper, something that you can write on. And then I'm going to give you a scenario where you can write this down, and these are your answers. This is, I got to tell you, this is a journal exercise. And I've got to tell you that this is one of the reasons why you would journalize. Keeping track of the way that you feel and how you have overcome it is something that you can go back and review from time to time when you're not as brave as you were today, right? Some people are very brave all the time. Some people are a little bit brave some of the time. Everybody has their own threshold, right? And what might be brave for you, I won't see as brave because it won't be a obstacle for me, if you will. So on this piece, take a piece of paper and write like down the middle, because we're going to have two sides to the answer. So this is a real life scenario for most of us right now. You have been asked to leave your house after 16 months in isolation. Because you fear getting COVID, you are unable to leave the house. You're unable to go out. Now, on one side, I want you to write over-the-top answers. What is the worst thing that is going to happen if you actually go out of the house with COVID? Or if you go out of the house after being in isolation for 16 months, what is the worst thing that can happen to you? So over the top, exaggerate your answers, make it somewhat funny, and let's have some answers on our live here. Let's have you answer in the comments. So one of the things that I wrote while I was doing this exercise was I could return to a world of zombies. You know, we've had people delivering groceries, delivering medications, delivering food for us, but we haven't really actually seen anybody, right, except for ourselves. So what if we could return to the world, but it was full of zombies? So this is your anxiety that we're talking about, and some of the worst things that could happen with your anxiety. On the other side of the paper, we are going to write the real possibilities. We know that we're not going to return to a world of zombies. So what is the actual world going to look like when we go out there? What do you think, anyways, of what the real possibilities or the good things are? So I could leave my house today. I could go to the store. I could meet somebody who has oxygen just like I do. We could strike up a conversation and become very, very good friends. That's one possibility of what could happen today, right? Hi, Emily. How are you today? You'll have to... a good one, Brian. Brian says walking out of the house and being the only person on the planet. Yeah, something like the zombie world, right? That's a good one, Brian. That's good. Anybody else come up with anything like over-the-top answers? What would happen if you went out? Oh, Brian took your answer. Good for you, Carol. Good for you. Great minds think alike. That's what they say to me, right? That's what they tell me. Hi, Noreen. How are you today? You'll have to go back and listen from the beginning to understand what we're talking about here. Anybody else got any over-the-top answers to what would happen if you left the house after being in 16 months pandemic, after being isolated for a 16-month pandemic? I thought I might get run over after I survived COVID. And that's, yeah, that's one of those things where you go, whoa, that guy didn't have very good luck, eh? The world's been invaded by robotic aliens. Hi, Joy. How are you? We're talking about anxiety again today. Joy knows how to conquer her anxiety. She just bought a horse, and she is just a beautiful horse, Joy. Just a beautiful horse. So on the other side of the page, we're going to write down what the real possibilities are. We're going to write about the good things that could happen to us if we actually left the house. And, you know, a lot of us are really struggling with this today. Yeah, like Noreen says, I think I would like to stay in forever, right? You know, that's a possibility that too many people are looking at these days, right? You know, we are social animals. We can't be in isolation all of our lives. Like, it's just not good for us, right? I know we have Zoom, and Zoom is fabulous. I enjoy Zoom so much. And I was actually talking to a girlfriend a couple of days ago who lives in Mexico. She left Canada and went to Mexico to live. And I was talking to her the other day, and she said, why don't we do this all the time? I don't know. You know, it certainly brings people close, but it's not, you don't have the touch and feel. You don't have the hugs and stuff like that, right? And eventually we will be able to get back to hugging people. Yeah, it is, Sue. I agree. Sue says that she realizes how how social contact and interaction is good for the soul. It truly is, right? You know, when we were in isolation there last year, and I was having, you know, a really hard time because I couldn't see Hunter. You know, we were talking over Zoom every night, but the problem was I couldn't hug him, and I couldn't squeeze him, and I couldn't kiss him, and we couldn't touch each other, right? And so that was a big problem, eh? So Noreen, if your outings are only doctor's visits, why is that? Is there any possibility of you getting out when it's not just a doctor's visit? Like, I don't know, sit in a park in the early morning or late at, you know, maybe later at night, like at dusk or whatever. We don't want to be out there in the middle of the night. Sitting at a park, going for a short walk, just sitting outside your house. You know, these things are things that we all miss. Yeah, Beverly, I'm a hugger too, and I just really, really, really miss it. I need to hug, like I need to touch people. Even when I went to my sisters, and my brother and sister-in-law were there, and you know, that's what was missing, right? Like, we couldn't hug each other. Very good, Brian. That was exactly the idea of this exercise. So if you did write this in your journal, good for you, because you will be able to review this exercise when things start to bother you. And this is the thing that I like about the journal. You can have pages in the back where you can just free write, or you can have doodle pages throughout where you can free write. It's not all stuff that has to be left out for you, but sometimes we like to review these things, right? And we say, you know, remember that time I couldn't go out? What did I do about that? Well, I did this exercise in my journal. Maybe I'll go back and review that and have a look at it again. So what I'm asking you to do today is to paint a picture of what it will look like in your mind. Always be positive. With a positive attitude, positive things will happen to you. And I'm pretty much the poster child for that. So be positive in your thoughts. Keep your thoughts positive at all times. Even if you fall, don't worry about it. Just get up and start over again. Be glad that you can get up. There will be no Zoom on Thursday evening because it is Canada Day. And it's a holiday in Canada, so we'll be taking Thursday off. I will have big announcements coming next week about journaling and doing some exercises in that. And I hope you really enjoyed today's exercise. This is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60. Signing off for June 28th. This is the last day of June. The last tea time of June. Thank you very much, guys.